Good morning, fellow EUCers, or evening if you watch it in the evening. This is a video about we're gonna explain our experimental rules that we're gonna apply for this EUC Flatland competition. So a big shout out here, these rules are experimental. These are not in the IUF, we're just gonna test them out. But in this video we're gonna explain to you how they work and what our goals behind them are.
So, what are the goals for experimenting with the Flatland rules? Number one, Flatland should be exciting. Flatland competitions have a feeling or kind of energy to it and is exciting for the audience. And we want to keep that or even enhance it by finding a rule set that is exciting for the riders and the audience to enjoy, and to have both well-known tricks as well as diverse niche tricks that are shown during the competition.
Secondly, battles are the main focus of the Flatland competition. We believe that battles is the factor that sets a Flatland competition aside from basically any other competition there is in unicycling or in other sports, and we want to enhance that. And we also want to encourage riders to interact with each other during the battle and to not do pre-planned routines.
So the third goal would be that the judging criteria should be clear and easy to understand. It should be easy to understand by the riders and the judges, and the audience should have a good estimate on who wins the battle.
Big disclaimer here, again, these rules are not set in stone and there are gonna probably be changes to them, because we are also very interested to see how they work. Because of that, we are very thankful for the feedback that we already received, but also for feedback that you will give us, hopefully, after the event. Lastly, we are working on a more detailed document to explain all the rules in more details with more examples and also the reasoning why we think those rules could make the competitions more exciting, more diverse.
Let's get to some rule changes then. The first one would be the competition flow in general. We will start with prelim runs. A lot more riders will move on to battles after that. The best ones will directly move to a final bracket. That's the final bracket that we know of as finals today. All the other advancing riders that did not make it directly to the final bracket will land in one or two lower brackets, depending on the numbers of riders advancing, and will have to battle their way through these brackets to get to the two remaining spots in the final bracket that we leave open. Let's be specific. We are going to go through all of the different categories and explain how the competition will flow, so you get an idea of how your category will go. Each of the two junior categories, so female and open, will have the following competition flow. For junior, 6 will advance to brackets, to the battles, and then we'll have 2 brackets. The best 2 riders will move directly to the final bracket. The other 4 will have to battle their way through a semi-bracket to get to the final one. And then, for example, Nan Biedig beats Balon Wets and Cornella In beats Cablo Podest. For the final 2 riders in bracket, they have a showdown, not a battle, but a showdown of best trick. Let's say Nan Biedig won that. The best 2 riders of that bracket will then advance. Nan Biedig was the first one, so he'll have the easier opponent in the next bracket, and Cornella In will have the harder competitor against them. And then the final bracket will play out as usual in the evening. Alright, let's go to the female competition next. 14 will advance to battles. So sorry, Go Tamagotchi and Chaudani, you didn't make it. The top 6 will advance for female. These 6 will be in the final already, in the final bracket. The other 8 will go to the semi-bracket and will have to battle their way through there. This 8 bracket will go as usual. So these 2 will advance to the final bracket. So then we are in a standard final bracket of 8 riders. So for example, Pofia Salmon beats Biker Makleda, August Bertramsko beats Sophos Augusko, Christ Kovac beats Bertram Sofosko, and Toast Regis beats Shax Mulze. And then we are down to 4. So Pofia Salmon beats August Bertramsko, Toast beats Christ, and then it's a final between Pofia and Toast. So we have first and second place. Okay, and finally the open competition, where even more riders will advance. So we'll have 20 riders advancing. The best 6 will make it directly to the final bracket again. The second best 6, so place 7 to 12, will make it to a second bracket. Both of these brackets will have 2 open spaces because a third bracket will be filled with the remaining 8 riders. And then the quarter bracket, the lowest bracket, will battle first. So we'll have battling going on, and again the final 2 of the bracket will have a best trick showdown to just see their seeding for the next bracket. Let's say August Bertramsko wins that showdown against Christ Kovac, so they both move on to the next bracket, and then the second bracket will battle out in any way. And again, these two will have a showdown. The best one has the easiest seat for the final bracket. And in the final bracket, again, it's a standard bracket, so we'll have people win. And then we'll have a small final, in this case, Brila Il against Balin Watts. And then we'll have the grand final, Refan Stank against Fat Mabian. And the winner is the winner of the competition. That is how the competition flow for Flatland will go this time. Since we spend more time with battles, we need to make up the time elsewhere. So, prelim rounds will be 30 seconds long with no last trick. But a lot more riders will be advancing, as I said. So instead of the 8 riders we had in Winter EUC 24 for the open or male category, this time we'll have 20 out of 40 in the open category advance. For the battle themselves, the lower brackets, so quarter and summer brackets, they will have 60-second battles, so that's 30 seconds per person, and then no last trick. And again, as I said, the final 2 in the bracket, in each bracket, will not have a battle, but instead have a best trick showdown. That's 3 attempts, the best one is scored. Not the last one, the best attempt is scored. And then for the final bracket, we'll have the standard 120-second battles, so 60 seconds per rider, with 3 attempts for the last trick.
Going over to the judging criteria themselves, we have some judging criteria that will stay the same. The difficulty score will still apply for the average difficulty of the tricks that are landed in a run or in a battle. Also, variety will stay the same, thus being the average variety of the tricks shown in the run or in the battle. For the categories that will change, style will replace flow, because that word better describes the cleanliness of the riding and the overall look of the tricks of the rider. And the fullness of the run will replace consistency. There are a few cases where the consistency score does not accurately represent how much tricks a rider is doing. Imagine a rider who's only doing one really hard trick in their run. They will get a 10 out of 10 consistency score, even though they haven't done much riding at all. So for the fullness, you will get deduction points both by failing tricks, but also by not doing tricks. Obviously, there is a run-up time for every trick, and for harder tricks you will get more run-up time without points deduction. But in general, if you are not doing tricks on a unicycle and just wandering around, your fullness score will get lower. Our aim is that in Flatland we want to have tight runs in battles, and the fullness score should reflect this better than the consistency score. And then we want to introduce a completely new judging category that will only act in the battles, the battling score. Since we already said that we want to encourage riders to interact with each other, this score should represent this goal. In general, the battling score will reflect one rider's ability to outperform their opponents in a battle, being by reacting to the other rider's tricks with harder tricks, or by setting tricks that the other opponent should be able to do but cannot react to. There are 3 ways how to score battling points. First of all, do the same trick that your opponent just did if it has a high difficulty score or is in general not expected to be redone. For example, let's take the open category. If the first rider does a 360 unispin, then if you would do a 360 unispin as well, right after, you will not score any battling points, as the 360 unispin in the open category is a trick that you are expected to be able to land. If, however, the other person does a 5th triple flip, and you right after do a 5th triple flip as well, then you as the second rider will score battling points, because the 5th triple flip is a very hard trick that not a lot of riders can do, so you're not expected to react to that trick adequately. Second option is to do a more difficult variation of a trick that just has been done. For example, let's take again the 360 unispin. If you would react to a 360 unispin with, for example, a 360 side, a 540 unispin or even a 720 unispin, you would score a lot of battling points, as these tricks are firstly harder than the first trick, and secondly closely related to the 360 unispin that has been set. If you would, for example, react to the 360 unispin with a 5th flip, which is a 540 unispin with a crank flip inside, then this would score way less battling points, as these tricks are less closely related to each other as, for example, the 540 unispin to the 360 unispin or the 720 unispin to the 360 unispin. And if you, for example, would do a fifth backside flip, which is a 540 unispin with a crank flip with a backside in it, then this would score probably close to 0 battling points, as the 360 unispin and the fifth backside flip are not really related at all. And the third option to gain battling points is setting tricks that the opponent should be able to do but can't. For example, if you would set a 540 unispin in the open category, you would score battling points if the other rider cannot do a more difficult version of that trick, as a 540 unispin in the open category is a very standard trick that a lot of riders can do. In contrast, setting a very intricate combo with different skills in it that all need to be mastered to be able to do that combo would yield no battling or close to no battling points if the other rider cannot react to, because the combo in itself is a trick that not a lot of riders can perform. If you would set a trick that should be expected to be landed by the other opponent, such as, for example, a 540 unispin in the open category, and the other opponent reacts to that with the same trick, so a 540 unispin being reacted to by a 540 unispin, then you, as the setter of the trick, will gain more battling points than the person reacting. Our aim is that if such a trick is being set, then the other rider, in order to gain battling points, should follow that up with a trick of with a variation of higher difficulty, such as a 720 unispin. To sum it up, if another rider does a trick, you can either react to that trick by doing the same trick if it's not a standard trick or a trick of very high difficulty, or doing even a more difficult variation of the trick to score battling points. Or you can start by setting tricks that the other opponent should be able to do, such as standard tricks that are often being seen in flatland battles. And if the other opponent cannot react to that trick adequately, then you will gain battling points as well. Obviously, there is no need to react to everything that your opponent does, nor is there a need to only set standard and easy tricks in the battle. We aim that there is both a mixture of standard, well-known flatland tricks in a battle, as well as diverse and very specific niche and very hard tricks in a battle. So both of those factors should have a place in a flatland battle.
So as a conclusion, this is a very short summary of the rule changes that we are working on for the purpose of the upcoming competition. If you want to know more details, we are working on a longer version with more details, especially on the reasoning behind the changes that we are trying now, so that will be coming. If you want to join that discussion, please talk to us at Winter EUC or online afterwards. We are thankful for all the feedback we can get and every point of view from riders, from judges, from audience members. Everybody who wants to have their voice heard in this discussion is welcome to do so. We are trying to make Flatland as exciting as possible for everyone involved, and this is our first try. So, see you at EUC.